Yo, what's up boys and girls, welcome back to this new video on the channel. Today we're gonna be responding to the queer kiwi. Yes, this is the queer kiwi, she has rainbow hair. And I know, normally I'll go by the quote, colored hair detected, opinion rejected. But today we're gonna give her a chance. Also a quick thing before we start reacting, if you have a funny name I could potentially give my fanbase, let me know in the comments. But without further ado, let's get right into the video.
So now we are seeing kids that are identifying as animals going to school, and they are purring instead of answering questions, and they meow, and the teachers are not allowed to question it because it's considered a queer identity.
So you have kids that are going to school and they're saying, I'm a cat. And the teachers have to affirm them as a cat.
Yes, so it's
So
not
schools
just
are
the
like
young ones.
literal zoos now, basically.
They are.
I'm sorry, but haven't kids always, pretended to be animals?
Yes, kids have always pretended to be animals, and if you ask me, there's nothing wrong with that. But in the video, they're specifically talking about identifying as an animal.
So now we are seeing kids that are identifying as animals.
Now there's a big difference between identifying as something and pretending that you're something. And I searched this on Google and got the Google definition of what it means to prove my point. Now here you have the Google definition of identify. Identify, establish or indicate who or what someone or something is. Now here's the Google definition of pretend. Behave so as to make it appear that something is the case when in fact it is not. So if I were to pretend to be a wolf, I know I'm not a wolf, but I'm acting like a wolf. If I were to identify as a wolf, I would say I am a wolf and I would believe in that.
Whether it surrounds from identity or whatever, let kids be kids. Isn't that what you're constantly saying? Aren't you always saying let kids be kids? And a really large part of childhood is using your imagination. These same people are saying let kids be kids. Stop just giving kids screens and actually let them have fun and be imaginative. So let them do that.
Oh yes, I do agree that children shouldn't get screens and tablets and that sort of stuff when they're very young. That's very bad for them if you ask. But what I find a bit weird is just saying it is normal for a child to identify as an animal. I'm gonna take a wolf as an example. Imagine a child pretends to be a wolf. They're acting like they're a wolf. That's totally fine. Children find that stuff funny. Why not? I probably pretended to be an animal as well at one point in my life when I was 5 or something. Now, the thing is, if you identify as something, you actually think that you are this certain thing. If a child actually thinks that they're a wolf, not just saying that they think they're a wolf, they actually think that they're a wolf, don't you think there's something wrong with that? And of course, it's always a tricky subject if you're talking about children, because you want to give children enough space to do what they need to do to, of course, develop skills and develop social skills as well and that sort of stuff. But you don't want them to go crazy. What I'm basically trying to say is if children on the playground are acting like the wolves, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But if a child actually thinks that they're a wolf, they start eating like a wolf, they start biting people when they're not happy, see, you might want to take some action at that point.
You can be meowing in class and still be consuming the information and learning.
Yes, but it would be very distracting for the other children. Imagine you're trying to focus on math and a child next to you is meowing as if he's a cat. Now you gotta understand, there are more children in the classroom. Like that one child understands what the teacher is explaining while meowing. Great for that child, right? But it can be very distracting for the other children.
At the end of the day, they know they aren't a cat. Everyone knows that they're people.
Yes, now that would be the case if we were talking about pretending, but we're talking about identifying, which means that they actually think they're a cat. But I think I made myself pretty clear. How about we just go to the next clip?
I am a 27-year-old transgender woman. I am a wolf therian and a member of the furry fandom.
When and how did you discover this inner wolfness?
Probably around age 10 or 11. I was watching an anime about wolves and see the wolf running across the screen, and I'm somehow just intrinsically like, oh, that's me.
Have you spent any time around biological wolves?
Yes.
That sounds dangerous also. What context are you?
So I was a volunteer with a preserve, and I've also visited many wolf preserves.
Are you able to communicate with the wolves?
Am I going to have a conversation with a wolf in the way that I'm communicating you and I? Obviously not. Am I going to read their body language, respond appropriately to their behaviors and their nonverbal cues? Yes.
Would you be able to give us an example of this wolf communication?
No. I'm not comfortable doing so.
Exactly. This is what I was just saying, right? Of like, they know they aren't actually the animals. They are aware that they are people.
Now, before this, we're talking about children, and now we're talking about an adult, so I don't think we can really compare the two. Because in my opinion, there's quite a difference. If we're talking about children, I don't find it weird if a child pretends to be a dog. Of course, if they identify as a dog, see, that's where I'm starting to have problems. But because this person knows that they're not a dog, they're pretending to be a dog. Now, being an adult person, right? Being an adult and pretending to be a dog in public, that's just weird. Technically there's nothing wrong with it. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just being very, very weird.
I don't see a problem. It's not harming anyone. If that makes them happy, then so be it. Just let them live and exist and enjoy their life as they are. Someone being a wolf really doesn't have any impact on you.
Now, the fact that something doesn't harm someone doesn't mean that it can't be criticized. An example I can give you here is that a lot of people criticize gaming when it doesn't really harm anyone. And I see people already make the point, yes, but some people are so addicted to gaming that when they don't game they start being aggressive to people, so then it is harmful. Same can be said about this. Everything you can take an extreme situation and make it harmful towards someone. If someone is pretending to be a dog, so extreme, sorry is the best way I could put it, that they start biting people, see, then it does harm to other people. And yes, I know, of course, you hear way more bad stuff about gaming because that's more mainstream. More people do that than pretending to be a dog.
At all. There are reasons that people may enjoy it. There are reasons that people connect to it. There are reasons why people want to escape from being a person. Being a person fucking sucks. There's a lot of stress and a lot of pressure that comes with being a person. And so it makes a lot of sense to use like being an animal as a form of escapism.
I think we as humans have a better life than most animals, but that's just a wild guess. It's not like we tell dogs when they're allowed to piss and shit. But if dogs would have a better life than us, then we would live like dogs, because we as humans want to have the best life possible. But before I end the video, I want to thank you guys for the support in the channel lately. It has been crazy. So yeah, thank you for that. But I hope you all have a good day. Peace, peace.